Hey everyone. So it's kind of late. I know it's like 10 o'clock, but it's spring break for some of you. So actually it's spring break for my husband, so that's why you're probably going to hear like some people getting killed in the background because he's watching a horror movie. I'm not watching a horror movie. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about numbers. Hey Amanda. So I'm Terri Strutton, hey, of the Stampede organization. And you don't see me on here very much, but you'll probably see me a little bit more because I love this group and you just will. So anyway, I'm being awkward because it's 10 o'clock at night. Okay, so a little bit about my story. I joined Pampered Chef because I wanted to stay home with my kids. And we were military, but we were looking to get out. My husband, we did the military thing, and it just wasn't for him. But he had never had a job that he really loved. Never. And I mean, we're like in our 30s now. So I was like, okay, don't pick a job for the money. Don't do it. Find something that you're going to love. Find something that you want to go to work every day. He's a teacher. He was born to be a teacher. And we wanted to move back home. We'd always wanted me to stay home with the kids while they're babies. We didn't have any at the time. I got pregnant. It was our first kid. So my husband wanted to be a teacher in Oklahoma, mind you. They're about to do a walkout. So a teacher in Oklahoma, and we're about to move overseas. We're about to expand our family. You know, I was gonna have to go back to work. Like that was just definitely gonna happen. So, but we still had the desire for me to stay home with the kids. Both of us did. So I was like, okay, I have had two sisters who have done direct sales with other companies. So I know that would give me flexibility, right? But I hate sales. And I say hate, like present tense. Sales sucks. I mean, that's not me. That's not even me. So I was like, okay, what can I do realistically that I don't really have to sell anything, right? I got a thumbs up right there. Hate sales, right? I don't want to be a salesperson. It's just not my personality. So I looked around. I was like, what do I like to do? Well, I like to cook. I love food. I'm not a teacher. Everybody in my family are teachers, but food does not yell at you. Food does not talk back to you, and you don't have to teach food anything. You're not responsible for food's future, right? So it was gonna be something with that. And I looked around at my kitchen and I was like, I have a ton of Pampered Chef. This is the obvious choice. I think this would be fun. So I joined. And let me tell you this is kind of funny. So I joined Lori's team, but Lori isn't the one who asked me. I asked Lori, but that doesn't mean I wasn't asked. Claudia asked me, like several times Claudia asked me, but I wasn't good friends with Claudia, and I had heard Lori's story a couple of times, and I was just drawn to it. I was like, you know, I'm outgoing, you know, I could maybe do this. If Lori can do this, if my good friend, this is nothing against you, Lori, I love you. But if Lori can do this, who is shy, and she's like super successful at it, and it's like she's just so encouraged by a Pampered Chef, I could do this too. Okay, so I joined Lori's team. The best thing for me was joining Lori's team. She's been an amazing mentor for me, and I'm sure most you guys know that too. But she has coached me and helped me realize that I can do anything in this business. So I had my first kid the month after I joined Pampered Chef. Y'all, I did not earn my bonuses in my first 30 and 90 days. I barely even had my first 2 shows in that amount of time. And, you know, I kind of regret that, because now looking back, I'm like, okay, yeah, that would have been really easy. And actually, in my first 2 shows, I made way over what it takes for that. But, you know, I just didn't. Anyway, so I really didn't do much. I really didn't do much that first 6 months. But it wasn't until, like, I needed it. I needed it. We were moving. We were going back. My husband didn't have a job lined up. Hey, Sarah, welcome. My husband didn't have a job lined up. And it turned out that we basically lived off of my Pampered Chef and his part-time substitute teaching pay, and then a little help from family, for a year. I was so glad that I had my Pampered Chef. But it was at that point, when we moved back to the States, I said, I'm doing something with this. I'm not throwing this away. I signed up for a reason. I have this kid now. And so, hey, Elaine. So I made a decision. I said, all right, I'm going to work my business. So I started working my business. I started talking to the leaders. I started talking to Lori and Claudia on a regular basis. And I started doing really big on sales. That December, so we moved in September. That December, I was like top consultant in sales. I had a really, really good month. And so they start talking to me about like promotions, and I'm just like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. That's not me. I can't do that. Okay, so I'm doing some good sales, and they just kept talking to me about this. And so I started thinking, so what would this mean? What would this look like? And I started adding some people to my team, and it just kind of happened, and I just kind of let it. I didn't really, I'll be honest with you, I did not pursue it at first. But then all of a sudden, I had these people on my team, and there were like 4 of them or 5 of them. And some of them were like so on the outs. They were about to go. They like hardly submitted sales ever. And one of them was green. And she was like, Claudia was like, this is your month. You got to go for this. And so I was like, okay. I took a deep breath. And it was like a week into the month when I actually decided, all right, I'm going to go for directorship. Well, guys, long story short, this is a short story long, really. I promoted that month. I said, all right, I'm going to do it. I promoted that month. And just like everybody's story, it came down to the wire. I didn't promote by the 15th. I promoted by the 30th at like 11 o'clock or something. It was crazy. It was nuts. But I did it. I promoted. And I promoted like the last month before you had to be able to walk across stage at conference. And I walked across the stage at conference, and I wore this cute little dress. And you guys, you know what? I was pregnant again. So I've now had 2 babies, 2 Pampered Chef babies. And I promoted. I was pregnant, and I promoted. You can do this. You can do anything. I got my crown at conference. I wore that red dress. I wore the sash. Everybody told me how cute I was because I had the big belly. And it just felt so amazing. And then they started talking to me again about promoting to advance. And I said the same thing. I can't. I'm not promoting this year. I can't do that. I got 2 babies now. I had to completely revamp my show schedule because I had a newborn and a 2-year-old. And I was like, I can't, you guys. Stop talking to me about it. And, you know, adding another kid adds more expenses to your life, too. Did you know that? And so, we're looking at finances, and I'm looking at my team, and, it's growing. And I had some real rock stars on my team, and I was like, you know what? If I don't help them promote, I'm doing a disservice. And so again, it was just kind of like a, hey, you really, really need to work with these people. So I worked with two of my new consultants, and they both fast-tracked. And you know what? I promoted again to advanced. And we all did that before, right there at the same time again, right before summer, right before walking, so we could all walk across the stage. I got to crown my first director at conference, and I got to walk again. And I was like, everything changed. And then you know what else happened? I started to take my business even more serious. I started looking at my numbers, and I hadn't made less than $1,200 in the last 9 months, 8 months. No, more than that. I don't even know. And then at the end of last year, I started hitting the 2,000 mark. And that feels good, you guys. I make like the last 3 or 4 months, I have made as much as my husband does teaching. And I'm still doing basically part-time hours. And I'm staying home with my kids. And that just feels really good. So I want you to know that, thank you. Yeah, it's amazing, but it's doable. Now, I'm not one to lie to you. This was not all fairy dust and, farts and rainbows, rainbow farts. It took work. It took making the decision and saying, I'm doing this. And it took talking to people. You cannot do this by yourself. And you cannot do it on a hope and a prayer. You put your nose to the grindstone. You pick up the phone. I know, it's hard. You pick up the phone. You talk to your leaders. You talk to other team members that want to do this too. And you frickin' go for it. The first time I went for directorship, I didn't make it. But you know what? I really hadn't decided that I wanted to. I was still really, really scared. And I kind of told myself that I wasn't going to make it. I didn't. But, even if you do tell yourself you're going to make it and you don't, okay, just try again next month. Not next year, next month. Just go for it. What do you want? Do you want to make more money? You can. Do you want to grow a team? Do you want to start reaching out and sharing this business with people that need it? I'm telling you, start looking around. Start listening to the stories of the guests at your shows. I went to a show in a teeny tiny town this last week. There were 12 people there at this teeny tiny house. It wasn't teeny tiny, but it was this little house, teeny tiny town, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4 leads there. 4. Now, that doesn't mean that they said, I want to sign up. No, it means I'm going to start talking to these people, inviting them to opportunity events. Once I started making this kind of money and seeing these recruits come in, it's like your eyes open to the possibilities that Pampered Chef can give you. I would always look at Donna Landy, our national exec, and Claudia, our senior exec. I even looked at Lori, and I said, oh my gosh, she's doing such a good job. I don't know if I'll ever be like that. And I'm being like that. But don't let it just happen to you, because it doesn't have to take that long. And then I look at these 2 girls that fast-tracked to director, and then like all these other directors on my team that are fast-tracking. Almost all of them have been fast-tracking. It doesn't have to take 2 years like it did me. It doesn't have to take that long. Because it just doesn't matter. You can do this. Anyway, I'm getting long-winded. I just wanted to come on and tell you guys that thousands of dollars are waiting for you. Just go for it. Just reach out and talk to somebody who's done it before, or somebody who's willing to walk with you the whole time. And you know what? All of your leaders are. They are. If you're a consultant, if you're not yet a director, if you're a director and you're not yet an advanced director, if you're an advanced director and you're not yet a senior director, reach out to somebody and tell them, say, hey, I think I want to do that. I want to at least know more. Okay? Anyway, you guys have a wonderful night. You're all amazing. You're all wonderful. You're all doing great, amazing things. And you know what? You can do even greater things because you're capable and awesome. And yeah, high five. And I'll talk to you later.